All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. New York Giants took the field today looking to shake free of their abysmal 1-5 start to this NFL season. The Giants' struggles on offense have been well chronicled, and they took the field today against the Washington Commanders looking to exercise those demons. Now, the Giants' offense was not pretty overall once again, but from what you saw today, it's still an improvement from what they've been doing lately, as they were able to get the much needed 14-7 victory today at home. Now, it was a pair of second quarter touchdowns by New York that propelled this team, two touchdown passes by quarterback Tyrod Taylor, first to tight end Darren Waller, and then to running back Saquon Barkley. The Giants did miss some opportunities to put some more distance between themselves and the Commanders today. A missed field goal, a botched punt, and then on top of that, the Barkley fumble late in this contest. Now, this Giants defense was flying around the football today as they sacked Washington quarterback Sam Howell six times, while the Commanders were just 1 of 15 on third down. And like I talked about this contest for my picks for this weekend's games yesterday, I said that the pass rushes from both teams would reign supreme, and that was the case because you're talking about two offensive lines that have had their issues. Of course, in the case of Daniel Jones, he's been sacked plenty. Now he's out, and in steps Tyrod Taylor. And then, of course, in the case of Sam Howell, and we saw both Tyrod Taylor and Sam Howell combined to get sacked 10 times today. So I'm really not surprised that the Giants defense was able to get well against this Washington offense. Now, overall, it wasn't pretty for the Giants, but if you're the Giants, you'll clearly take an ugly win over a pretty loss any day of the week. This team was 1-5. They were searching for answers and they needed to get back on track, and they found a way to do so today. Now, clearly, this team has not given up on head coach Brian Dayball. They are still, buying into what he's selling, and I still think that Brian Dayball is a darn good head coach. Obviously, year two has not gotten off to the glowing start, if you will, that year one for him did with the Giants, but nonetheless, he has still got his feet entrenched on this team. Now, Tyrod Taylor today was 18 of 29 passing for 279 yards with a pair of touchdown throws, and most importantly, zero picks. And I know that there are going to be some that say, excuse me, that Tyrod had a better sense of the offense than Daniel Jones did. I'll tell you like this, and I'll go back to what I said last year when the Giants signed Tyrod Taylor. I said, listen, Tyrod Taylor came to New York knowing that he was going to have an opportunity to get some reps. Really didn't get the opportunity last year because Daniel Jones balled out and DJ balled out like typically most players would do, when they're in the walk year of their contract. And, obviously, also not taking anything away from Daniel Jones, the injury bug, with the exception of last year, has really limited him throughout his NFL career. So if you're the Giants, you have insurance at this position. Tyrod Taylor is a quality veteran quarterback that's been there and done that. And he's a guy that, he can come in as the replacement quarterback, replacing an injured quarterback like he's doing right now. And there's not that much of a drop off. There's nothing that you're going to show Tyrod Taylor at this point of his NFL career that he hasn't seen before. He's a chiseled veteran. He knows how to go out there and get the job done. And most importantly, he gave the Giants an opportunity to win today. Yes, it was not pretty, but he gave this team an opportunity to win. They fed off of the home emotion. Their defense got going, and New York was able to get the much needed 14-7 dub. Now, for the Giants overall, can they crawl back into things with a record of 2-5? Obviously, it's still going to be a large, and I mean large uphill battle for them to get back to even think about possibly scaring the Eagles and Dallas Cowboys as far as winning this division. You're 2-5. You're still in the basement of this division. But if you're the Giants, you have an opportunity in front of you to make some hay. Next week, you're at home. Well, yeah, you are at home, technically, I mean, the Giants are the home team when they take on the New York Jets. Obviously, the Jets are in their bye week this weekend, and then the Jets have to feel very confident about themselves after they just knocked off the Philadelphia Eagles next Sunday. Both of those teams are going to be desperate, excuse me, to keep their respective momentum going. But if you're the Giants, if you could find a way to win that game, then you're in Vegas to take on the Raiders. There's a possibility that we're talking about a 4-5 New York Giants team before they travel to take on the Dallas Cowboys. But they've got some winnable games coming up. The Jets, winnable game. I'm not going to sit up there and say the Giants can just mail it in. No, but then after that, they got the Raiders. You got Dallas on the road in week 10, but then you're at Washington in week 11, and then you're home for New England in week 12 before you hit your bye. So now is the time. Can the Giants try to find a way to build off of this? And credit to them because they left it all out there last Sunday when they lost on the road to the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night. And the Giants had every opportunity possible to win that game. And unfortunately, they did not. But this team didn't get down on their luck. They were able to build off of that. You had an opportunity against a team. I'm not going to call the Commanders an inferior team, no, because the Giants are not world beaters themselves. But you had an opportunity to get back on track against a flawed football team, and the Giants, were able to expose some of the Commanders' issues, i.e., Sam Howell getting sacked as much as he's been sacked so far this season. And like I said, this Washington offense, it was not pretty for them in the first half, and they should have been very thankful that they were only down 14-0 at the break. It could have easily been 24-0. And of course, Washington made it a game immediately in the third quarter when Brian Robinson scored from 4 yards out to make it 14-7. But who knew that that was going to be all of the scoring for the day? I'll tell you like this. This is one of those games where field position, special teams, and turnovers dictated things. Not only that, it's one of those type of contests where the first team to 20 was probably going to win. And of course, neither team got to 20 points today, but nonetheless, that's the type of feel that you have. The Giants, for them to go forward, they got to play like this, unfortunately, because their offense has lapses to say the least. But at least today, they were able to score enough, and hopefully, for their sake, they can find some more continuity and rhythm on offense. And of course, it's tough to accomplish that when you have so many issues on your offensive line, so many injuries. But again, credit to Tyrod Taylor. He went out there and played to his strengths. Credit to the coaching staff for putting him in that situation as well. And the Giants were able to run the football better, and they have been doing that better since Saquon Barkley got into the lineup, came back to the lineup rather. Excuse me, 106 yards on the ground today by the Giants, 77 of those by Saquon on 21 carries. So that gives you an opportunity to kind of dictate things a little bit more at the line of scrimmage and also mix it up and also give your quarterback an opportunity to make plays down the field off of play action because you can have all of the spread offenses that you want. The game of football, regardless of the level, is still simple. And if you can't run the football, consistently, it's very tough to have said success. TFX, what's going on? You're saying finally the G Men win. I couldn't watch the game. I guess it was ugly. Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but like the old saying goes, a win is a win, and you take them any way that you can get them. And for the Giants, like I said, their offense was able to show some flashes today with Darren Waller and, of course, Saquon Barkley. Going forward, I still think the Giants need to do a better job of getting the rookie Jalen Hyatt involved more. He had two catches today for 75 yards, and he could be a home run hitter for this Giants offense if they're able to protect their quarterbacks enough to get the football down the field consistently. That guy has that type of blazing speed. There's talent there at the skill positions for the Giants, but they still have to get better in the trenches. This defensive line has been playing with a lot of life. You saw Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence and company, making it their business to hound Sam Howell a lot today. And that's going to be something that the Giants have to do going forward. The way that the Giants played defensively today, that's what they were doing last year when they were winning football games. And I know it's a week to week league as opposed to being a year to year league. I get it. But at the same time, we saw glimpses of what the Giants were able to do on offense last year when they were successful, and they need to find a way to get back to that. But nonetheless, if you're the Giants, you definitely have to be happy after this 1-5 start, after the heartbreaking loss last week to the Buffalo Bills, to come back and give your home fans something to cheer about. The first home win of the season for the Giants, and they definitely want to look to build off of that next week when they take on the Jets. Won't be easy. Be a lot of fans going at it, not physically, of course, but verbally, and of course, cheering on their respective teams at MetLife Stadium next week. People don't understand, Jets and Giants, they only play each other four times. I mean, once every 4 years. And then, of course, they play each other every year in the preseason. But nonetheless, when the Jets and Giants get together locally in that New York area, it's a big to do. So let's see if the Giants can build off of this and get rolling and find a way to get their offense to a score 20 points sooner rather than later, because you can't keep winning games like they did today. But nonetheless, they did get the much needed win. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. TFX, thanks as always for chiming in. It's a pleasure. I think tonight's game is going to be a dandy. Me personally, I feel like both of those teams have what it takes to make deep Super Bowl runs come January. The Dolphins, they're trying to get healthy. They're going to get Jalen Ramsey back soon. And the Eagles, as scary as it's been, they haven't played their best football yet, and they're 5-1. I know that they lost last week to the Jets, so I really think that this game is going to be fun, and I hope that you enjoy it as well. And with that said, folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off and saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.